Have you ever wondered about all the different jobs at Clark County? If you're curious to know what other employees do at work, or even explore the possibilities of another position at the county, here's your opportunity. Take Your Coworker to Work is Clark County's new job shadow program. It lets employees shadow a coworker for up to 8 hours. To introduce the program, this video shows 10 employees from different departments talking about their positions. If the video gets you thinking about your own career, or if you'd like to know more, please visit the Employee Development page at clark.wa.gov/Clark County Employees.
Well, my job title is the Legacy Lands Program Coordinator. I work in the Environmental Services Department, and the primary job responsibilities are really the acquisition of open space lands for protection as open space and for recreational opportunities for the community. It's a job that involves real property transactions. It involves development of partnerships with which to put forth joint projects, share funds, and also bring on certain expertise to do, for example, habitat restoration projects that we may not have the expertise for ourselves. The best thing I like about the job is seeing the results of my efforts. I think it is a major benefit to the quality of life in Clark County. I enjoy getting out to these spaces, and I hope other people take the opportunity to do so. The most challenging part of the job is missed opportunities. We only have a limited amount of funds with which to pursue projects, be it an acquisition project or a restoration project. And even if there is a lot of grant opportunities that you could pursue to leverage funds, they usually require a 50% local match of funds, and also some of the grant timelines might have an 18-month application process before you actually are awarded funding. And in 18 months, you could lose a significant opportunity to a residential, commercial, industrial development, whatever it may be. And that's the most frustrating part when those opportunities disappear. There's a few things. As I mentioned, we're always looking to leverage our local funding opportunities. So certainly I would familiarize yourself with other people that are in the conservation business within the county, the cities, other nonprofit organizations, the work that they're doing. We have an ongoing relationship with the Columbia Land Trust, for example, would be a good source of information. I would also try and get some grant management experience. A good starting point for that would be to go to the State Recreation and Conservation Office webpage and look at the various grant programs that they offer, the requirements for the grants, and kind of the sort of the limits of funding that may be involved. And because we're always looking to develop partnerships, particularly through which to complete stewardship projects, I would also try and get some experience in contract and agreement management, since we would typically work with other partners through those vehicles. I think it's a great job. I think probably the best thing that I could say is try and get out to some of the sites. You can go to our webpage, www.clark.wa.gov/legacylands, and we've got a list of the various sites that we have acquired over the years that have public access to them, and just walk around, see if these are the types of things that are important to you, and if so, maybe get some of that contract and grant experience that I suggested.
My main job responsibilities I basically just handle anything that happens in the county that has to do with animals, from cruelty, neglect, vicious animals, injured animals, animals causing traffic disturbances, Pretty much it runs the gamut. I mean, if you can think of if it involves an animal, I'm probably going to get called on it. Yeah. What I like best about my job is probably when I get an opportunity to rescue an animal from like a dangerous situation, like a storm drain or a tree or cruelty or neglect kind of situation. I also really enjoy like reuniting stray or lost dogs with their owners. That's usually a pretty happy occasion. What makes my job challenging is probably the dangerous people and the dangerous animals that I have to interact with. The advice I'd give somebody who was interested in applying for this position would be to first and foremost go on a ride-along. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, you know, you watch like Animal Cops on the Animal Planet, and you see like, you know, the glamour side of the show, but there's a lot of hard things you've got to deal with, like euthanasia and things like that, that a lot of people probably couldn't come to grips with when they immediately think about applying for this job.
Hey, and here we have. It's okay. It's okay.
What I would like to say about my job, I think it's probably the best job in the county, because I mean I get to deal with you know, crazy people, crazy animals, crazy situations. When I wake up in the morning, I don't know what I'm going to do that day. So it's always something different, and it provides a level of challenge that I really like.
What I do each day is I help support 3 crews that work under me. One is a water quality crew, another one is a drainage maintenance and repair crew, and another one is a asphalt maintenance and repair crew. So each day I make sure that they've got the tools and the supplies and the equipment that's needed to take care of a lot of their chores or their tasks. Another is to maybe field some citizen concern phone calls that we'll receive on a daily basis, and also make sure that I've got enough work planned out in front of the crews so they can continue on taking care of what they need to get done. The most gratifying experiences that I have with my job is being able to experience the crews accomplishing their task, everybody working as a team, and meeting the deadlines that we need to get done, and we're all getting things accomplished. We're solving problems, those kind of things that I think are very fulfilling for us. Some of the big challenges that we've got are trying to meet deadlines, and we have to face inclement weather, equipment breakdowns, and to make sure that we can get our work done in a timely manner. We've got other support groups or groups that are behind us trying to get some work done that need our work to get completed first. There are some environmental compliance deadlines at the end of the year that we've got to take care of with the water quality, that we got to make sure we get those tasks done. So trying to get those done, and you know, being faced with some inclement weather makes it very challenging. So some good advice is just be really passionate about road, you know, the road maintenance and construction type of activities. Got to really enjoy working with people, the citizens in the community, making sure we're providing them a good service.
Some of our responsibilities include the inspection, which would be routine visits to restaurants and other businesses that have a food safety permit with us. This would include some...
What is the name of this concession again?
This is North Clark Lions Club. Include some schools and some retirement facilities. We look at their food handling processes, the workers. We're particularly focusing on hand washing and safe handling of the food. And our overarching goal would be to prevent food illness as much as possible. My major responsibility of the job in the food safety program is to visit with restaurants and other facilities that have permits through public health, and we're focusing on their food handling, their employees' food safety practices, and of course the ultimate goal would be to prevent foodborne illness. I enjoy being able to get out of the office. We have you know, a lot of varied types of food facilities, so you meet with different ethnic groups, people from different backgrounds, and I enjoy answering their questions. I really like to feel that I'm helping and educating, giving them information that helps them do their job better. Often we have language barriers. We try to work with picture information sometimes to help express the processes or the corrections that we want to put in place. We sometimes can involve interpreters in that if we need to. There's also sometimes time constraints, and a lot of times the people that we work with are in a hurry. They like to have things done sooner than sometimes we're really able to provide for them. So we need to be patient, and we need to encourage them to be patient as well. For someone who might be interested in applying for this position, my advice would be to be sure that you have a science background. We do need to have a 4-year degree, and the science is very helpful with food safety issues of foodborne illness, what may cause a disease, what's the best way to prevent it, what activities you can promote within your business to be sure that you're working as safely as possible. Oh, for someone who might think this is a possibility for them, but they're not really sure, we would welcome them to call us, ask questions, and it is possible to join us on inspections as kind of a shadow behind us and just to observe. The experience will probably show you how much more of communication is involved in the job, not just the knowledge that you might have acquired about food safety and other issues, but really being able to work with people, to talk with people, and sometimes exercise the art of friendly persuasion.
My job is a planning tech, and as a planning tech, I make sure that all the applications that come in for development review, that the applicants have submitted everything that they need for the planners to review. And so I make sure that everything that's required by code they receive. And so I check their special studies that they submit. I check all their plans over with a fine-tooth comb. I check all of their different kind of reports. I check those over. I route them to different staff, such as development engineering, environmental services. Those are the main departments that I work with a lot. And I just make sure that the applications have everything required by code and that the planners are ready to review the applications. I start at the very beginning with the fully complete, but then after the applications go through the land use review and the planners have reviewed them and everything, when the applicants come back later on through the process, I do the final land divisions and the final site plan reviews. And so I also work on getting their applications recorded, their subdivisions and their short plats, and then get them ready for building with their final site plan reviews. I like that I have a variety of duties. Every day is different. We never know what development is coming into Clark County. Obviously everything's really busy right now, so we get a lot of different commercial projects coming in and subdivisions right now, and it's fun to see what's coming in and having a chance to work with the public and the consultants. There are, because we do have a very heavy workload and we have timelines that are required by the code, and so meeting those, sometimes we're asked to shorten those timelines to help, for financial reasons, maybe for a developer, or there's, things come up and maybe there's a reason why we need to shorten those timelines. And so to balance the workload, it can get really challenging at times, and to make sure that everybody else who has submitted applications are getting their applications done on time and by code. I would say if you like a fast-paced job and you're you have great organizational skills and you love working with a variety of teams and working in a team environment, that it would be a great job for somebody to apply for. It's a fun job. I've been doing it for 10 years. If that it's a great job to get to know different departments within the county. You get a chance to work with development engineering, the health department, legal staff, the land use review team. You really get a wide variety of teams to work with.
I currently work in the transport division. I supervise 13 people who their sole responsibility is to make sure that the inmates go to court every day, take them to court, all their court appearances, trials, outside medical appointments, and we also transport them up and down the I-5 corridor to other agencies, as well as picking up inmates from other agencies that are coming to our facility. I like the interaction I have with the general public, fellow employees, courthouse employees, and even with the inmates. The challenge is the diverse population that I work with. Most of the people that are in jail don't really want to be there. We have a high population of mentally ill inmates that are very difficult to deal with. That's probably the most challenging. I think it's a great career opportunity. I think that if you want to make a difference, I think this is the job to choose. It's a long-term job. It's not something that most people get into and then leave. It's something that you stick with for 30 years plus. I mean, it's a fantastic job. I just think it's a great environment. It's like a family. You spend half your life here at the job, and it's your second family, and everybody that I work with is fantastic.
My name is Nicole Davis, and I work for the Prosecuting Attorney's Office in Clark County, Washington. I'm assigned to the Civil Division. I support 3 attorneys in civil litigation matters, and I also process all of the public records requests that deal with the criminal cases that our office prosecutes. I really enjoy supporting the 3 attorneys that I work with. They have taken me as a beginner legal assistant, and they've allowed me to have some leeway in my job as far as learning different parts of the law. I have a background in the criminal law, so I've learned a lot about the civil law. They've given me some opportunity to research some issues. I also really enjoy providing public records. I have large exposure to all of the people that work and live in our community. They come to us looking for different records. They don't always know what it is we're requesting. Sometimes it's as simple as a police report. Other times they are requesting all the records that involve one of our criminal trials, maybe a murder case or something like that. And so the public records request is very complex. There's a lot of redactions that need to be made in the records that are provided, so I work real closely with the attorney here that's assigned to public records, but I also get a lot of exposure working with the public and providing them a service too. I think every day is a different challenge. You don't know what you're going to walk into. Sometimes it's very quiet and there's no real emergencies. Other days you come in and you end up getting 8 public records requests, and you have an attorney that has some last minute motions that are due, so you kind of have to juggle a lot of things all at once. Every part of my job is kind of has somewhat of an aspect that is a moving part, and you kind of just have to fit it together like a puzzle. Some days it can be challenging to do that. You have to learn to balance your time appropriately. I think you have to be a hard worker. You have to kind of come in with a can-do attitude. A lot of times the legal assistants are the lead worker for that unit or that division, so you manage the flow of the work in your unit. So you can't be the person on the team that doesn't have a can-do attitude. You have to be able to help anybody in any position. You have to sort of be able to pick up where somebody left off. If somebody calls in sick, you kind of just have to take over for them. As far as the legal assistant position, we're the go-to person for everybody on the team, and you have to be able to respond appropriately.
I'm an IT manager here at Clark County, and I have a staff of about 20 people, includes the application developers, the database administrators, and business systems analysts. I get to work with a very large variety of people. We support all of the different departments within the county, so it's exciting to be able to see what the different departments do and see how we can integrate the systems together to work more efficiently, and just really unique and interesting people. So this is my first time working in a public agency, so there are some differences from private industry to public. Budgets are a little bit different and processes, but all in all, I think that we're presented with some opportunities to make a difference and in some cases be more efficient at what we're doing, and there's a challenge to spend money more wisely. You know, we impact the community, so it's a good challenge to have. And so oftentimes people who are working in the technical field, they don't necessarily want to grow to be a people manager. And we have a lot of unique personalities and characteristics of people that we work with. And I actually find that it's very interesting. Technology and implementing technology is the easy part of our job. Working with people is the part that causes the challenge. So no matter what kind of a management position you're in, you really have to be able to work with the people and understand them and help them grow. And that's a challenge and a reward at the same time. So I really appreciate the opportunity to work with the people that we work with. Worked in IT for a long time, and I really appreciate the challenges and unique opportunities that we get here in public service. Opportunity to help and be a part of the community and be part of the solution. So it's great to be here.
I am a residential appraiser, so I work with my team. We value all of the residential properties in Clark County, so it's quite a process. We have to physically inspect 1/6 of the county every year, and then along with that we are constantly analyzing sales because we have to analyze every single property every single year at 100% of market, as well as we pick up all of the new construction in the property. So anytime there's a subdivision or a house being built, we have to go up and measure it and check out the characteristics and pick it up. The variety is really interesting. That's what I really enjoy is, you know, half of the year we're out in the car. We are, you know, driving around, looking at properties, looking at new construction. And then the other half of the year, it's really analytical, which is what I really enjoy. It's looking at sales and trying to determine what's happening in the market and then applying that to our models. That's probably what I would say is the most rewarding and also the most challenging, is trying to take a small sample and apply it to the masses. So, you know, when you're looking at a neighborhood, you've got maybe 3 sales and you say, you know, how can I use these 3 sales to determine what's happening on a larger scale? So it's challenging, but it's very rewarding as well. I think the best advice I can give you is just, if this is something that you're interested in, come talk to somebody. I mean, we're very open, willing to share. You know, we can kind of give you some advice into things that you need to know. You know, if you like following the market, if you like looking at sales, if you're someone that enjoys a lot of variety and working in a fast-paced environment, you know, this would be a really interesting job for you.
You know, working patrol, we'll respond to a number of 911 calls. So our average day starts with us being in a patrol vehicle. That's kind of our office, that's our home, that's our space. So we will respond to whatever comes and arises. In the meantime, we're driving around, so we put a lot of miles on the car, unfortunately, or for ourselves as well. We're in that car all day long. So again, as we're driving around, we're looking for things that we can help, people that we can help, things that we can prevent as far as incidents or helping to prevent the 911 calls. So an average day would be also responding to those 911 calls. As far as the calls go, we get a wide variety of calls. That could be anything from people just simply needing help, meaning medically, to obviously disturbances and those other calls that you'll see us going to, which obviously you hear about on the news usually. You know, some of the exciting things, or the things that attracted me, were just the fact that every minute is literally changing. You really can't plan your day. You have no idea what it's gonna entail. We've had people come and ride along with us, and that's some of the interesting parts, is they'll come with us, and some days it may be what we consider a normal day, meaning that
some of the 911 calls are the normal ones that we respond to on a daily basis, or some of the traffic stops. But then with any given minute, we could be responding to something that we've never seen before, something very unique, something with its all new challenges. So I think that's what excites me, and I think what excites a lot of us that do this is that it is ever changing. We really never have any idea what our day is going to give us. When you wake up in the morning and put on your uniform, you are literally looking forward to every minute could be something different. You know, I think the cliche from the challenges that we face are the physical things. I think that's the first thing, that first and foremost that people look at is, you know, all the challenges physically, and that be whether it be violent things or just simply physically, as far as having to run and jump fences and be very physically active. And although I agree with that, it does have those challenges, and that's things that we have to be aware of. I think a lot of our challenges really come from the behind the scenes things that people don't realize that really go into doing police work, and that's trying to make those right decisions in a split second, and having to document all those decisions and the preparation that goes into those decisions, and that's we obviously see the news, and we see obviously the mistakes that are made sometimes, unfortunately, by others, and that isn't the truth with all of us, and a lot of us again try to always do the right thing and are trying to be proactive, and there's, unfortunately, when you are being proactive, sometimes you're dealing with split-second decisions that you do have to make, and with that comes a lot of challenges, and that's making the right decision in a split second. And of course, each and every one of us, I'm sure, has looked back over some of these decisions we've made in these tough incidents and maybe have done it differently, but again, at that very time, that's all we had to react on, and that's all we knew. There's the challenges behind the scenes as far as the documentation. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of documentation and a lot of critique that goes on behind the scenes on every little thing that we do. And again, some of those decisions that we're forced to make are in the middle of the night when it's dark and it's raining sideways and we can barely see, and we are worried about our safety, of course, and we're worried about the safety of others, and I think that's where the challenges really come from, or a lot of the behind the scenes of all the stuff that has to go in and that we have to focus on. What advice would I give somebody pursuing the career? Of course, I love it. I think it's the best job in the world. No disrespect to any other job or career out there. But for me, I really enjoy it. And I enjoy just the fact that, for lack of better words, I am forced to make decisions in split seconds. And I am forced to be in those situations where others are calling upon us for help or having us do things to help them. So as far as advice that I would give to others doing it, I of course would recommend it. I think it has a lot of challenges to it. And I think they'll continue to have challenges in the future, challenges that we don't see today, and that's part of what attracts at least people like me and others that I think that I work with, all those individuals, that attracts us to it is the ever-changing challenges and knowing that tomorrow we're going to have to be better than we were yesterday, and that's something that kind of keeps us driving. So for those that would be interested in doing it, I of course would highly recommend it. It's a fantastic job, it's a fantastic career. I think a lot of people will tell you that it isn't a job, it is a career. It's something that we dedicate ourselves to do, and we are dedicated every day to getting better and being better at it. So people that have that kind of motive or that kind of drive, I think it